Welcome back, my students, to another episode of Comic Class. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be looking at the JLA story Tower of Babel. Now, this was written by Mark Wade, and yeah, this will be the first story that he has written that I've covered. And without further ado, guys, I think that we should just jump right into this video. This is probably one of my favorite stories I've read so far concerning the Justice League. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started with the video. Let's go.
You just need to believe.
So our story pretty much starts off with Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul basically talking about the preservation of the planet and its animals, and how Ra's al Ghul basically believes that humanity is destroying the ecosystem, so he has an idea to thin out humanity's numbers. And yeah, so we get to see that Bruce Wayne basically goes to visit his parents' graves, pay his respects, the usual thing Batman does on his free time, I'm guessing, and he sees that his parents' graves have actually been dug up and stolen. Yeah, pretty crazy start to the story. Now, the Martian Manhunter basically is flying around, it looks like someplace like Antarctica or something, and Talia al Ghul basically has her henchmen, Ra's al Ghul's henchmen, blast the Martian Manhunter with some type of nanite robots, like a missile that had nanite robots in it. And yeah, so basically he kind of like lights up on fire. This gets the attention of Wonder Woman and the Flash, and basically they have a race to see who can get to the source of the fire first, and it's revealed to be Martian Manhunter on fire once they kind of put the fire out with Flash's speed, taking off the oxygen around the fire, which was pretty cool. Now you can see that Ra's al Ghul's henchmen are basically attacking different members of the Justice League. They freeze Plastic Man and kind of blast him apart, kind of smash him to pieces. They also hit Aquaman with some type of gas, like some type of fear thoughts that makes him afraid of water. And yeah, it's some pretty brutal scenes here. We get to see that, we get to see Ra's al Ghul basically check marking the ones that he's taken down with his henchmen, and he basically has a plan for all the different Justice League members, it seems. So he basically says that he's about to start going into his next plan, and this basically is kind of making it to where the people of Earth can't understand the written word. Basically, he scrambles everyone's brains to make it to where you can't read anything, and it just comes out as Babel, hence the word Tower of Babel as the title of this story arc. So Wally and Diana basically go to meet Kyle Rayner to see how he's doing, and it turns out that Kyle Rayner is actually blind. Now we'll go back to that after we get to see what Batman is doing, when Batman figures out that Ra's al Ghul has basically taken his parents' graves. And yeah, it's pretty messed up, and we get to see that Ra's al Ghul had an idea to get Batman out of the picture so that he could enact his plan of taking down the entire Justice League. And Batman realizes this a little too late. Ra's al Ghul basically shows him the coffins of his parents, basically about to put them into the Lazarus pit to resurrect them, and this kind of like horrifies Batman, as he can see in the panel. So the henchmen basically make their way to the Flash and Diana and also Kyle Rayner, and they all get attacked. And while that battle is going on, we get to see the world itself is going into chaos because no one can read the written word, and this is horrible for people that are doctors and the people, in the planes as well. They're not able to see where each other are at because they can't read the coordinates and stuff like that. It's just pretty messed up, and they even say that surgeons are basically at a loss of what stages they can't read anything. And yeah, so people are actually dying, the ones that are like in surgery right now. It's just like so messed up. There was definitely a huge amount of death in the story arc. So you get to see that what happened is that they put nanite inside of Wonder Woman's brain to make her hallucinate and believe that she's in a never-ending battle with an equal, to kind of get her heart to stop and have a heart attack, which is messed up. You also get to see the Flash basically has epilepsy at light speed, basically, and this like just completely destroys the Flash. And Aquaman is basically dealing with his hydrophobia, or whatever it's called, being afraid of water. Kyle Rayner is definitely like the MVP of this whole scene because he actually tries to fight back despite not being able to see at all what he's doing. It really shows the potential of Kyle Rayner and why exactly he was chosen to be a Green Lantern. But eventually he falls also to Talia al Ghul. And yeah, so Batman basically attacks Ra's al Ghul and tells him that he doesn't want his parents back if it's through the Lazarus Pit, and that he accepts that they're gone and that he wants to be worthy of their memory. This from Ra's al Ghul basically explains that he's been taking out the entire league, and he reveals that he has red kryptonite. And this kind of like freaks Batman out because he knows exactly what this means for Superman. And yeah, so Talia al Ghul basically is almost stopped by Martian Manhunter wearing some type of hydro suit, stop him from bursting into flames with his nanites. And Superman basically saves him from bursting completely into flames again. But this is where Talia reveals that she has red kryptonite. And yeah, Superman is not looking good whenever this red kryptonite is attacking him. And Batman basically says to Superman, he's trying to reach him through the transmission, saying that he did this to them. Which was, a pretty sad scene. Batman realizes what exactly is happening is his fault, in a way. I guess you could say it is Batman's obviously made the contingency plans at the first place, but we'll get into that later. So basically, Batman fakes his death at the edge of a cliff, basically to fool Ra's al Ghul's guards and henchmen. And yeah, and Martian Manhunter basically figures out to kind of like put Aquaman into some type of an illusion, hypnosis, to believe that he's in a desert, to finally put him with water to save his life. And Plastic Man's basically trying to see and remove the nanite from Wonder Woman's brain, that way she can function back as normal. This is where Kyle Rayner basically tells her, Wonder Woman, that, this was Batman's plans, kind of like make her have a heart attack by fighting her heart out and basically feeling the effects of an actual battle, despite it only being a hypnosis, basically. And yeah, eventually Green Lantern actually gets his eyesight back as well, because they figure out that what happened is they put Green Lantern into a type of hypnosis, like trance, when he was asleep, to make him believe that he was blind, and because the Green's power actually made him blind. So he actually just had to believe that he wasn't blind again. And yeah, really cool plans basically to take on the entire lead from Batman. These are really cool contingency plans. And yeah, so Superman basically starts hearing and seeing what exactly is happening in the world. It's just complete chaos. So Superman decides to head off to meet Batman. And Batman basically gets, Ra's al Ghul's people off his trail by basically posing as one of them and basically getting slapped by Talia and basically being told to go search for the Batman when he actually is indeed the Batman himself, which was probably one of the coolest scenes in this entire arc. Now, like I said, Superman heads off to go see Batman, and Batman and Superman have a little bit of a talk. They don't really get into the details of why exactly Batman did what he did with these contingency plans, but Batman basically reveals to Superman that they have to go take out Ra's al Ghul's base so that they can stop the scrambling of everyone's speech. So this is where Superman basically arrives at the headquarters and just destroys the entire place, just in kind of a rage because he can't believe Batman kind of betrayed their trust by having all these plans to take them out, which is really cool. Now, after this, we do get to see Batman say that they'll have to talk about this later, and we get to see that Superman is still reeling from the effects of the red kryptonite, but Batman does let everyone know that it will pass. So Talia is basically helping out the lead, figuring out how to defeat Ra's al Ghul, basically telling them how to do it, and she gets shot by one of Ra's al Ghul's henchmen, his subordinate, and now it's up to Batman and Superman to take on Ra's al Ghul. And yeah, so basically Aquaman, because Martian Manhunter basically gets out of his suit and kind of figures that he needs to go help the lead, but when he does this, it breaks Aquaman's hypnosis and he starts freaking out, and Martian Manhunter is afraid that Aquaman is going to die of fright, so he basically gets into the tank with Aquaman and basically uses telepathy to talk to him and basically tell him that he has to fight this fear that he's feeling for the water to basically defeat this thing that Batman put into him. It wasn't Batman per se, but it was his contingency plan. So Martian Manhunter is basically telling Aquaman he has to power through it, and yeah. We really get to see even Plastic Man kind of really angry at what Batman has done and put them through, and we definitely will have them talking later and figuring out what to do with Batman. But the first, they have to stop the threat of Ra's al Ghul. So basically, Ra's al Ghul is trying to start a chemical warfare in the Middle East to start a world nuclear war, basically, and kind of like just really thin the numbers of the human race. Nuclear winter, as I think Kyle says. Yeah, so basically the Flash basically gets to one of the chemical bombs, but he actually, he's basically like holding it in place with his phasing through or something like that. So he basically can't move at the moment. So while that's going on, Wonder Woman and I think Plastic Man go off to take on the other dude, because there's two guys with two bombs in different spots to start a nuclear war. Basically a chemical war to start a nuclear war. And this is where Wonder Woman has to save some kids after she accidentally knocks them off with the force of her, rope. Or the guy, kind of like knocks them off. It's kind of hard to tell with how it's drawn. But yeah, so basically Wonder Woman saves the kids, but still holds on to the dude with the rope. And we'll come back to the scene in a little bit. Now, Batman and Superman head into where Ra's al Ghul is at. And basically Ra's al Ghul drops the Waynes, basically their coffins, into the Lazarus pit, or at least they're about to. And Superman basically goes to stop them from dropping, and this is where it's revealed that Ra's al Ghul is a really smart dude. He put red kryptonite underneath the coffins on what's holding them. Superman basically starts getting weak, and this is where Aquaman grabs Superman, but also Mark Spencer makes the save with the Waynes, and basically now they're safe. And basically Batman goes and he finds the dude, I guess his name is Kent, who is the guy who created the Tower of Babel device. And yeah, they're gonna put him in jail so he can't do this again. And Ra's al Ghul is confirmed that he escaped, but Superman says he's not really a big threat at the moment, just all his plans are from Kent. So it doesn't really matter, as he won't be able to do anything by himself. His Talia is not working with him either. So let's say we'll come back to Ra's al Ghul in a later story arc, I'm guessing. But for now, he is defeated. So the last dude, basically with the chemical bomb, basically is told by Wonder Woman that he doesn't want to die for a cause, that the person that is hiring him to do this doesn't even care or even know his name. And this gets the guy to say that he doesn't want to die. His Wonder Woman's using her lasso of truth, basically get the truth out of him, and he does state at the very end he doesn't want to die. And yeah, it's a pretty good scene, and I like that Wonder Woman has this ability with her lasso. So we jump into the final portion of the story, the last 5 or so pages, and this deals with Batman basically, and if he's going to stay in the lead, and if he lost everyone's trust in what he did with these contingency plans. And yeah, it's a really good scene. We get to see everyone kind of talk it out, give their votes if Batman should stay or go. At the end of the day, Wonder Woman does give her opinion that she can't really trust Batman, because she really could have died, as well as all the other league members. You have to be able to trust your teammates, and I really respect Wonder Woman's point, but I do think Batman does have a reason. It's one of those things that no one's really in the right, is Batman does have a reason to be scared of if the Justice League really did turn evil or were controlled somehow, because it has happened in the past, as he said. But at the same time, Wonder Woman's right in that Batman probably should tell him that he at least had plans but not detail them. It's just very hard. You can kind of choose your own poison for this, pick your own poison. I think it's the same. Both of them are kind of like wrong and in the right. So you can see Plastic Man basically say that he doesn't really trust Batman anymore, and despite that, Batman's the one that got him into the Justice League. Batman almost killed him by his plan. So it all falls down to Superman at the very end, with Kyle Rayner and the Flash basically saying that they want him to stay in. And yeah, Mark Mantor wanted him to stay in as well, but it all comes down to Superman, and basically Flash basically asks Superman if because he knows Superman's closely he has to a friend, does he think Batman knows how Superman will vote? And at the end, we get to see that Batman's not in the Watchtower anymore, it seems, and that he has head home, and kind of implying that he quit the league on his own, so he knew that they were gonna kind of like force him out or fire him from the Justice League of America. And yeah, that's how the story arc ends. Pretty sad note to end the story. Now, I mean, I wasn't expecting them to just forgive Batman right away, but at the same time, I do think Batman had a point. Like I said, no one was really in the wrong, in my opinion. But leave a comment down below what you thought of the Tower of Babel story arc by Mark Waid. Mark Waid isn't really considered a really good writer, but I think with this one story arc, he really did hit gold, and I can see why this is one of the ones that comes up anytime you mention Mark Wade. This was definitely a really great story arc and definitely is up there in my favorites now. I can't believe I waited this long to actually read it, but I was glad that I could cover it for you guys, and I might read the next story arc, Divided We Fall, and cover it as well. But I'm going to read it first and decide for myself I want to cover it. And yeah, if you haven't already, go check out the whole Grant Morrison Justice League of America run, or JLA run, of 1997 that I have entire review of that entire run on the channel. Link will be at the end of this video. Also my Ned Spencer Amazing Spider-Man run as well. Those two stories are just amazing, definitive runs in my opinion. If you want to get into these type of characters, they just really know how to handle these characters. And yeah, overall, Tower of Babel, definitely recommend it. Link in the description down below. Check it out on Comixology. Definitely is a must read for anyone that loves the Justice League. And I think Batman in general, it's really good for all the characters. And yeah, but that's gonna be all, guys. Until the next video, God bless you. And until the next lesson, keep on reading those comments.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you react.